Hello, hello. Welcome back. I wanted to take a couple minutes today to talk to you all about intermittent fasting. If you hear the dog, this is so typical. Now, he was super quiet. Now, of course, he wants to be all loud, rolling around on the floor and stuff. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you all about intermittent fasting and how that's like another, I guess, piece of my minimalism, and it's also helped me save so much money. So first of all, let me put a disclaimer out there. I am not a nutritionist or anything at all connected to health. So this is just my experience. I would say probably about 4 years ago, we were having a Biggest Loser contest at work. Now, first of all, I personally feel like those things are all stacked because we know that guys just physiology is different, so they can lose weight a lot faster than us, and it's based on the percentage. But anyway, I still decided to participate. So at the time, I was like 170, and I was looking up different ways to like lose weight, and keto kept popping up all over YouTube. And I looked at keto, and I was like, ugh. I don't think I could do keto because I feel like something's in my eye. I didn't want to do keto because, it's very anti-carbs, and like, I love carbs. Like, I could not live without carbs. So I was like, well, I don't want to do that because that's not going to be long-term, because I'm not giving up my bread and my pretzels and my rice and all that kind of stuff. So while I was researching and I found out about keto, though, it was also talking about intermittent fasting. And I was like, what in the world is that? So I looked it up, and once you get lost down the rabbit hole of intermittent fasting, it's this whole world of like, okay, what are going to be my fasting hours, my eating hours, the whole nine. So I decided I would do 16-8, with the idea being that I would eat for 8 hours. I would have an 8-hour eating window, and then I would have a 16-hour fasting window. Now, I'm not gonna lie. The first week, oh my gosh, the first week is so hard, so hard, so hard. So what I would do is the hours that I did were 11:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night. So what that means is I did not eat after 7:30, and I did not eat before 11:30. And so when I first started, I literally had to figure out what was I going to do every hour before 11:30, because, oh my goodness, it just felt like, oh. So what I would do is when I got up, I would have a bottle of water. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab my water because it's like right here. So I would have one of these. So I would drink a whole one of these as soon as I got up. Then I would make myself a cup of tea. I was drinking oolong tea for the longest. And of course, you can't put any sugar or sweetener or anything in it because then it knocks you out of your fasting state. Luckily, I had already started cutting back on sugar, so that wasn't a big deal. So I would have like a cup of oolong tea that I would drink on the way to work. Then I would drink another one of my water bottles once I got to work, and that would kind of tide me over until 11:30 when I could eat. Now, 4 years ago, I'm not going to even lie, I have no idea what I was eating. I can't even remember. But what I've been eating now for probably the last maybe 2 years, probably about 2 years, is I've been doing these protein shakes. Because what I find that happens, the cool thing about intermittent fasting is once you get used to it, then you start changing what you're eating. But initially, it's strictly about, can I discipline myself just to eat in this small window? And so when I first started, I didn't change I wasn't really looking at, the nutritional value of my food. I was really just sticking to my 8 hours. So that means I was still drinking my Red Bulls or eating my Swiss rolls or my salt and vinegar potato chips, all that kind of stuff. But now I'm a lot more cognizant of like the healthy side of things. So in addition to intermittent fasting, Now I'm actually cognizant of kind of what I'm eating. So every day at 11:30, between 11:30 and 12:30, I break my fast with a protein shake. It has 32 grams of protein in it. It's actually a plant-based one. I'll make sure, I don't know which side it's going to pop up on, but I'll make sure I put a picture in of it. It really fills you up. I've only been doing these 32 grams of protein probably for about 3 months. Prior to that, I was doing, Serena Williams had a brand, not Serena, Venus had a brand, and it was like 20 grams, but it was also plant-based. But once hers was out one week when I went to the grocery store, and then I had to try this brand, and I like the taste of hers better, but I can really tell the difference with that extra protein. So I'm just sticking with that. So every day for lunch, I have a protein shake and I have an apple. Now remember, since I work part-time, it kind of works out perfectly because I literally just eat once I'm like in the car. So what I do is I have like a container that can keep things hot or cold. I put my ice in it in the morning, put the lid on, leave it sitting in my car. And then when I leave work, I just pour my protein shake in there and I eat my apple, and that's all I eat. Now remember, I'm not a nutritionist, so of course, I'm sure technically that is not enough calories, but it works for me. Then what I do is in the afternoon, I have switched my snacks around. So instead of salt and vinegar potato chips, I now eat like these veggie chips, not the stick ones, because those to me were nasty, but I can eat like the exotic veggie chips. And they have the crunch and it's salty enough, not quite salt and vinegar, but it's edible. I can do it. So I do that. And then I usually have another piece of fruit some other time in the evening. Now, the thing that kicks my butt, where I have not been able to really channel my minimalism energy, is dinner. Now, I have had, in some ways, the same dinner for a couple years. So because I do not like to cook, I was going to Papados once a week, and I was getting like this big container of shrimp etouffee. It's like $50, and it literally will last me like 4 or 5 days. So technically I have that, but I don't really have like a set system of like what I eat every day. Although, because I'm such a creature of habit and I'm not a foodie, so I totally could do it and it would save me so much money. I haven't really done it yet. Part of the reason right now is I just have so many moving pieces going on with me trying to, supplement my income to make sure I can afford to continue to work part-time. That it would help me a lot if I came up with even like a every Monday, I do this, every Tuesday. I'm leaning definitely towards just like getting food, eating out somewhere and getting it big enough portions that'll last me a few days. And the reason why is lately, oh my gosh, I've been so tired. I don't know if it's menopause, hormones, I have no idea. I know my neighbor who's like over 80 is always ranting and raving about the benefits of B12. And I have some, but again, I forget to take it because I feel like vitamins, I think, are so much easier to remember to take in the morning. But because, of course, I don't eat in the morning, I just have my tea, I wouldn't really I don't think you should take vitamins on an empty stomach. So I might need to try to work them into like my night routine. So anyway, right now, dinner is kind of like up in the air. I try to eat by 6:30, no later than 7. And then I'm not as strict now with my fasting window at the back end. I'm pretty good on the front end. Back end, not so much. I definitely am done by 9 though, because I try to be in bed by like 8:30. I'm not asleep, but I'm in bed. And so even if I have like a cup of tea before bed, I just don't use any sugars in my tea at all. Like I don't even have sugar in the house. I have no sweetener. I do have some honey, but I never use it for that. I use that for allergies. But anyway, it's really worked out. And 4 years ago when I did it, when I first started, I told you I was 170. And I have managed to keep off like, oh my goodness, what am I now? Maybe somewhere in the 140s. Like I fluctuate between 140, 145, 146-ish. So you figure it's pretty good. I mean, that's, almost 30 pounds that I've been able to keep off. And that is strictly with just disciplining myself to eat in a very small window. I've not been as regular with exercise. I would love to be, but again, maybe one day. The benefit of intermittent fasting, though, for someone my age, and if you all didn't see my other videos, I'm almost 50, is that it really does wonders with your blood work. So like 4 years ago, I was considered pre-diabetic. My A1C was kind of high. Now those numbers are great. My blood pressure has always been fine. The only thing that's kind of coming up lately, the last year or so, my cholesterol has been a little shaky. So I know oatmeal can be really helpful for that. But again, because I don't eat breakfast, oatmeal is hard to work in like in the rest of the day. I guess I could. One thing that I might try, because I actually have a doctor's appointment next week, so I can see how my tests and all that, my blood work is doing. If it comes back high this time, I think what I'm going to do is make oatmeal my afternoon snack. So like instead of coming home and like just making like a little something, I think that might be my afternoon snack. That way I could get it in every day and it doesn't take that long, and I could even put some fruit in. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you've considered intermittent fasting and you're not on like a bunch of medications, I would totally suggest you try it. If you already have some medical issues though, definitely talk to your doctor, because sometimes trying to go that long without eating just isn't healthy, of course, especially if you're like diabetic and stuff like that. Right now, I don't do the oolong tea. I switched because my is this my right foot? My left foot has been swelling up for like years. And I was like, I know there has to be like an anti-inflammatory tea. So I found it. It's called like Tulsi something. I'll put a picture of it. I get it from like Whole Foods, so instead of oolong now, that's what I drink. I get it from either Whole Foods or Sprouts. The other thing that I would suggest, that if you really want to try it, right now, I only do it, and really over the last 4 years, I only do it Monday through Thursday, because I don't tend to socialize during the week like that. And so I figure that way on the weekends, you can kind of be back to normal, so to speak. On the weekends, I do 12 hours. And if you want to like baby step your way into intermittent fasting, I would strongly suggest do the 12 hours. So that means, if you get up at 8 o'clock and you eat at 9, then your eating window is just from 9 to 9. So 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then you just gradually, shrink it down, because then that's just a difference of 4 hours you're trying to get off. But the 16-8 has been amazing for me. I absolutely love it. It is definitely a way of life. Again, I'm not as strict on the back end now, but now it's just such a way of life that, I get up in the morning and I'm just used to drinking my water, drinking my tea, having my lunch. It's just kind of very systematic, which kind of, I guess, goes hand in hand with my minimalism and my whole goal of just slow living, simple living, less decisions to be made. So yes, and it definitely saves me money, because like I very rarely buy food to eat at lunch, because I usually just eat my protein shake. Of course, every blue moon I'll eat breakfast. Sometimes I do, but in any given week, I might eat breakfast once a week. It just depends. Lately, my allergies have been bothering me, so I've been eating breakfast in the morning, just because I'll take a spoonful of raw unfiltered honey, and then like I don't want to just have honey on an empty stomach, so then I tend to like make toast or something like that. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this, and until later, be grateful. Bye-bye.